You know what time it is, bitches. It's pump it up time. All right, so I haven't done a long form video in a while. And the reason is because there's not really a whole lot to talk about for me. But when I do find something, I will make a long form video when I feel that I have something to give that's actually of some worth to you. You know, I've had a couple people hitting me up in my shorts asking me to do like training videos and stuff. Honestly, after you've been training like 6 months, you should pretty much know how it goes. There is a lot of bullshit out here in training, you know, but if you train hard and you give yourself appropriate days off, okay, you either have the genetics to get big or you don't. Now, there is such a thing as that there's people that don't work hard. I get that. They don't have self-discipline. But I don't think that that's most of you. All right? Call me optimistic, but I think that people, when they go to the gym, they go there for a reason, to work out. And quite honestly, there's differences between when you're working out when you're young and when you're working out when you're older. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Training when I was younger versus now. Training when I was totally natural versus now when I'm on TRT. Everybody always asks me my doses. I stay the same. It's about 150 to 200 a month. No, wait, sorry, a month, a week, right? 150 to 200 a week. And that just depends on half-lives, right? Because if you go to a doctor, like I do go to a doctor right now, and the thing is, they'll shoot you up every week or less, right? And the problem with that is that most steroids like Cypionite, and that's what they give you for TRT, it has a half-life of like 4 days or 7 days, right? And it starts to drop off. So what happens is you get these ups and downs even if you go to the doctor. So you're better off doing it smart, low dose, more even, and then you don't break out in a bunch of acne. You don't have like all the emotional trauma that some guys go through and sexual dysfunction, right? So sometimes when people, even when they go to the doctors, it doesn't fix their sexual dysfunction, or they'll get their shot 2 days later, they want to have sex like crazy, and then it'll drop off. So that's just my personal experience. That's why I inject myself instead of getting my doctor to do it, right? So I also, before we get all into that, just did a little update on my health. I went to my cardiologist, a couple times since my stroke. They monitored my heart for 5 weeks. I am perfectly healthy. I did also a colon check, prostate check, and I have no cancers whatsoever, no cardiovascular disease, and no cancers that are trackable with any known probability. I mean, there's still the outside chance that somebody can get cancers even though they've been checked out clean, right? So that's the world we live in. Obviously, I don't drink any energy drinks. I was talking to my doctor, and I don't want to say his name because he's such a super guy and everybody is hitting me up to find out who he is. And I'm like, that's kind of his thing. And if I tell somebody, it'd be somebody that I personally know so that they could get help, right? And not only that, but because I do YouTube videos and he does know that, I feel that it's wrong of me to bring him into the conversation. And I hope you can understand that he deserves his privacy as a physician and a professional. And he's such a super cool guy, right? So he told me that whenever you have a stroke or whatever, because I was like, hey, people are saying, it's because of the TRT that I had a stroke or this and that. And he's like, everything contributes, right? He's like, that's one contribution. There's many contributions that happen to, that come together. So just so you know, I'm very well versed in what's going on with my body, and I'm pretty healthy. My heart is not even skipped a beat, and I am bulking. which probably is the most dangerous part of having health issues, right? Is bulking, because you slow down. Your heart rate sometimes can go up. I've still checked my heart rate every day, but I don't have my watch on. I better put that on. And my heart's usually like, remember I'm 54, so 127 over 70 is an excellent heart rate for my age, and that's usually what I am around. So let's do this. Get this bad boy on so that I can check it. All right, so training when you're younger versus you're older, okay? And let's just take the steroids out of the equation, because when you're a newbie, your first 6 months of training, it's like you're on steroids, basically. So you're going to get the gains if you have the genetics to gain. People are always thinking that, steroids are going to make you big because they see giant bodybuilders, right? Remember, all those guys that are bodybuilders that are big like that, they have the genetics that when they take steroids, they get big, right? Other guys will get like really hard and lean and strong, and they'll just never get big. You know what I mean? So you can always get in better shape, whether it's natural or whether it's enhanced. All right. I don't like a lot of these channels overdoing everything and giving people warped senses of what's going on, because there's too many people going around, this guy's natural, this guy's not, this guy's not, this guy's not, and they don't know. You know what I mean? We honestly don't know if somebody's on steroids unless they take drug tests in front of you all the time and you talk to their doctor. So it's really none of my business or my concern whether someone's natural or not. I got better things to do with my time. I think that that's just that YouTube community, and the hater's going to hate, right? So drink up, haterade. But back to training when you're younger versus older. Just so you know, this is a great supplement here. I am not endorsing anything, but I got these because vaping takes away your vitamin B3, which robs you of your good cholesterol. And my cholesterol is low, but so is my good cholesterol. So I take the niacin, and it's a non-flushing niacin to compensate for the fact that I'm vaping. So I know you should quit vaping. I never said I was the healthiest person in the world, or I was right about everything. But if you do things, be educated on them and know that there is for every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction, right? So when I was younger, I gained really fast. As soon as I picked up weights, I blew up in high school. And, it's hard to remember in high school. I think I was 14, I was 145 pounds, 5'10". Then at 15, I think I was 180. Right? Because I started working out. So more intense, and started eating on purpose. I went from nobody knew who I was in grade 9, right? To I was on the football team, wrestling team, and everybody knew who I was in my small high school, right? So you have to have a genetic predisposition to gain muscle fast, or it's a struggle, And then some people, the missing component might be anabolic steroids, right? But some people, even with anabolic steroids, will never get big. That's just a fact. And you can overdose like crazy, but some people are really, really going to get hit hard with the side effects too. So I would suggest never taking steroids if you're young. I please hope you understand that. I didn't have to go that avenue because I got big really fast. And then I always believed I could get bigger, even though I didn't get much bigger, right? I think in like 15 years of training after that 180, I think I got up to 212. you know, and that wasn't even super lean. That was like a good bulk, probably like what I am right now. You know what I mean? 212. So yeah. And then after like 30 years, of training, I think I started now shrinking, and that's why I went on the TRT. So bruising easier, lack of sleep. You know how well, if you're older, you know how it goes. A lot of people get lack of sex drive. I never had that problem. I don't think I ever will. I think it's right here for me. I think I'm a little bit like a pervert with my old lady. So anything, any girl that tells you no is more attractive, right? So there you go. So she'll never get any sleep. So what's really good is these push pulls. Okay, if you're starting out training, these push pulls are really good. But what I did is after I gained my initial mass and size, I started working on cutting and bulking and cutting down, and then doing that in like cycles. Okay. And the reason for that is because you fine tune, you age your muscles, and you get little gains from that. But every time you diet down, you will lose muscle. Okay. And then once you hit your rock bottom hardness and cutness, you will slingshot, and you'll get about like maybe a good month of looking supercharged, where you can eat almost anything and you just look bigger and fuller for that month. Then after that, you start to get fatter. So that's something that happens. That's a natural reaction to natural training, dieting, and cycling of bulking and cutting. All right. As for working out, I just always worked out hard. I had naturally big legs when I was younger, so I never had to focus on those till a few years after I had gotten bigger, where it was obvious, okay, now my arms are almost surpassing my legs, right? Then I started training legs a lot. So now as you get older, okay, there's various reasons that you will not do well with training. One, you're probably, if you're older and you have trained before, you're going to try and hit it hard like when you're young. That doesn't work. Okay. You have to come at it very slowly, limit your reps, limit your weight, and just get enough to break down that muscle fiber in certain sets, not the whole workout. All right. Especially if you're natural. Now, if you're older, okay, and you're on TRT, all right, you could take Keto.Nike, which really helps out your joints, okay, and lubricates your joints and your tendons, so that you're not in so much pain, all right. But you, whether you are on TRT, okay, and this is TRT legit, not like the fucking TRT YouTube shit. If you're on TRT and you're older, do not work out every day. If you want to do cardio every day, that's fine, okay? But don't do cardio at 165 heartbeats per minute. Do it at like 130. And the reason is because it eats up muscle fibers, right? If you're doing like 2 hours a day, like when I dieted down, I was doing 2 hours a day, and I was doing 165. My legs started shrinking. They're just coming back now from the bulk. So if you're older, okay, take your rest days for sure. I would say 3 days a week is more than enough if you're over 40 years old to get your body looking better, but then do half an hour of cardio a day. And the reason is you don't get to sleep. You don't have the growth hormone coming out at night like you did when you were 25, okay? You don't have the testosterone levels like when you were 25. Your joints, your back, all of your bones have been ricocheted over time, right? If you sit behind a desk, I don't know what to tell you. Like I sit behind a desk now, but I'm still pretty active. And most of my life I worked construction, so I don't, my body was constantly being abused in construction, right? So, but I feel that 2 or 3 days a week of weight training, if you're over 40 years old, is more than enough. If you do any more than that, your body will not respond. And I really feel that that's even on TRT, legitimate, because there's a lot more than anabolics that come into play. Now, that's just my opinion, but I've found that I can work out 2 days a week if I do cardio every day and look great. And then what I could do is 2 days hard and then a third day midweek of like touch-up stuff, right? So now if you're young, 5 days a week. Go 5 days a week if you're a young guy. Take the weekend off. Go do what you got to do. Be young. I will say this. People always hit me up and go, oh, I can't believe you're 54 or whatever. I didn't do hardly any drugs. I went through a period of like 6 months where I tested out drugs when I was younger, right? But other than that, I've led a very clean lifestyle. I've not had a drink in over 5 years, alcohol. Now, I know when you're young, and I did it too, you go to the bars, you do what you do, right? I know they're not as prevalent now as when I was younger because that's where you met girls. I don't know how a young man would meet a girl, probably on the internet now, but probably at parties too, right? Because parties were prevalent when I was young. But yeah, go out there, have fun, but don't abuse your body. Don't abuse your liver and kidneys so that later on you're going to have serious problems. And, you know, your body will only last so long. You know what I mean? And everybody's got different limits and limitations, and you never know what yours are. So, but yeah, just this is a long form video compared to, you know, the flexing videos. This is kind of my condition. I'm not really bigger, but my muscle bellies look better right now because I'm fuller, if you get that, from the bulk, right? So you get the muscle bellies, right? But I'm not as cut, obviously. But, you know, this is almost the way I like to look. It's in between. I don't want to get bigger. What I would like to do is treat it like chiseling a stone out, right? In the right spots, have a little bit more belly, right? Like on my quads, I'd like my teardrops lower, where it's nice and more bellied, right? So as you get older, you have to make your decisions. Even when you're younger, you have to make these decisions of what you want to look like. Do you want to be a mass monster? Or do you want to be like a physique god, right? A classic. So it's different styles, but also different genetics, okay? What your genetics are determine how you can take your body to that level. So like maybe you can't be a mass monster. I probably could have, but I would never do that to myself, right? Yeah, because constantly I get people saying, oh, dude, you're going to be huge and this and that. No, this is as big as I want to be as ever. I just want to keep being healthy as I get older, keep being able to be strong. All right. And keep looking this way as long as possible. I know there's a point when I'm 80 that I will not be able to look like this. But I'm going to enjoy my life right now. And that's what you should do to a certain extent. But don't make the mistake. I see other YouTubers that are young out there. And what they say is a light always burns brightest before it burns out. There's a reason for that saying. Some people are throwing a lot of gas on that fire and they're going to burn out. Take it from me, an older guy. I've always done it over time, right? Inch by inch. Everything's a cinch. You don't have to do it tomorrow. Like not everything tomorrow, but get out there and do something tomorrow, okay? All right, guys, I hope this video helps. Please comment underneath and tell me what kind of videos you're interested in, what kind of topics you'd like to hear from me, being an older guy who still works out. All right, guys, get out there and do something.